Yeah, Rob Manfred went to Florida, did a grapefruit circuit media day, came to Arizona. He did a couple of hours with the national and local media, Cactus League Media Day. He defended the Dodgers. The quote, the Dodgers have done everything possible within the rules. Within the rules. He says you can be critical, but not of the Dodgers, but be critical of the system of Major League Baseball. So he's talking about payroll, a luxury tax, or the lack of a floor to spending. He would not use my phrase, floor to spending, but he should use floor to spending. He did admit that owners are worried about the payroll disparity. Do you know, as of this hour, the Dodgers' payroll is $330 million more than the small market Miami Marlins payroll? Think about that, John.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, the Dodger payroll is like at 383, and the Marlins payroll is like 53.
53?
Why does baseball allow that to happen?
That's a disgrace. I mean, one thing you can complain about the Dodgers, but the Marlins are really screwing everybody.
He's indicated this whole trial and error thing with the ABS and the computerized robo-ump. He says, we're going to try to grow this thing. He says it works in the minor leagues. Now we'll try to make it work in the major leagues. It will be an experiment through spring training. It will not be, it'll be implemented in baseball after they evaluate what the experiment is like in spring training. The managers will get 2 challenges. If your first or second challenge is successful, you'll get a 3rd challenge. If the 3rd challenge is successful, you can get a 4th challenge. I think the most alarming thing, I saw the survey of the use of ABS in AAA last year. More than 51% of the ball strikes calls that people protested, you put your hand on top of your helmet, more than 51% had calls overturned. So the umpires, they got a problem because the umpire's ability to call balls and strikes doesn't look real consistent if more than 51% are overturned when they review. But this will start with the season, and of course it starts in spring training today in the Dodger game. It'll be spring training tomorrow with the Padres Seattle game. He also says he wants to really see an international draft. That's complex because every baseball federation they have, John, has a different set of rules vis-a-vis free agency, how you release players. Japan is different than Korea, which is different than Taiwan, which is different than the Caribbean, which is really different than Mexico. I don't know how you bring all those federations under the umbrella of one set of rules to establish an international draft. And of course, all this has to be run through the next guy. You got a comment on what the commissioner had to say?
Love the ABS system.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I saw a little clip of it because they were Yu Darvish was pitching in Peoria, and they showed it up on the big screen. So everyone in the stadium could see it.
Everybody stopped.
Yes, it's cool. And you can see the ball, and it's like outside. It's an animation, but you get a clear picture of this. And Yu Darvish didn't like it. He said, I threw strikes and they were called balls. And I'm like, come on, Yu. I mean, come along into the future. I think this is great.
Get the call right.
Exactly. And it's funny how, the umpire is right behind the plate calling balls and strikes. Yet, Dave Roberts is in the dugout doing this. He's like off on an angle and he thinks he can get it right, but they usually do get it right. So good on those guys. I'm happy that they're innovating.
You surprised the commissioner defending the Dodgers right from the get-go?
Those are the rules that exist, so how could you blame them for kind of maximizing the opportunity? But, he says, if you want to blame anybody, blame baseball, blame the system. And I'm like looking at him and I'm saying, you're the commissioner of the thing of baseball. Maybe that's more of a shot across the bow to the players union or something about trying to get to the negotiating table.
Well, they will go to the negotiating table. So Manfred had an opinion. Feel free. We just gave you the hottest quotes from his Cactus League press conference. The other guy right there is Scott Boras, because he's got opinions. And after Manfred was done, Boras held his own little get-together with the working media, and he criticized baseball. Scott Boras, 6 teams as of today are under $100 million in payroll. 6. And they're all taking in revenue share and TV money, and they're under $100 million in payroll. He said 10 teams in this winter offseason never signed a, quote, star free agent or quality free agent, taking shots at the Cardinals and virtually everybody else, including probably the Padres up until last weekend. And he then alluded to the difference in the Miami payroll versus the Dodger Stadium payroll. Scott Boras of the opinion this should be on the owners, not on the players. It's the owners who are refusing to spend the money. And John Riley's response to the super agent?
Again, he's right here. You can't blame the Padres when you have Grupner up there saying we're maxing out revenue or we're maxing out payroll. And if you take that at face value, that's what you would hope that the Marlins would be doing and all these other teams around baseball. But it just makes you angry when you have an owner like that. It's like the owner in the movie Major League. Remember, she wanted to move the team and everyone hated her. If you got an owner like Fisher with the A's or whatever, whoever the hell is managing or owning the Marlins, it just angers the community. They feel like they're getting ripped off.
Concur. And everybody had opinions yesterday.